From 18 to about 24, my daily routine was a crime scene. Sleep at 3 a.m., wake up at noon, or whenever my job legally required me to exist. Breakfast was an energy drink. Lunch was whatever was closest. Exercise was walking to the fridge and occasionally carrying something heavy at work and calling that basically the gym. And the wild thing is, I got away with it. For a while. Because at 19, your body is running on warranty. You can abuse it, and it just keeps going. You feel invincible. Then, somewhere around 25, the warranty expires. Quietly. No email, no notification. You just wake up one day tired for no reason. Your back makes a sound like a haunted door, and you realize the bill for all those years has arrived. With interest. I'm 31 now, and I'm in better shape, physically, mentally, financially, than I was at 21. Not because I became a productivity monk. I still play games, I still eat pizza, I'm still fundamentally a bit lazy. I just learned how habits actually work instead of how YouTube gurus pretend they work. This video is the system. No ice baths, no 4 a.m. club, no grind till your eyes bleed. Just the boring, unsexy habits that genuinely fixed my life, and exactly how to build them when you have zero discipline. Which I didn't. Let's go. First, let's clear up the biggest misunderstanding about discipline. You look at someone fit, organized, productive, and you think, they have willpower. I don't. Case closed. I thought that for years. I assumed disciplined people woke up every day wanting to do the hard things. They don't. Nobody does. Here's the actual secret, and it's almost stupid. Disciplined people don't rely on discipline. They design their life so discipline is barely needed. The fit guy doesn't out-willpower the biscuits in his cupboard. He doesn't buy the biscuits. The battle was won at the supermarket days earlier when his motivation was high. By the time 10 p.m. him is hungry and weak, there's nothing to fight about. There's just no biscuits. Devastating. Effective. That's the whole game. Make good choices easy and bad choices annoying. When I wanted to stop gaming until 3 a.m., I didn't summon warrior spirit. I put my router on a timer. Internet dies at midnight. Was I furious at past me the first week? Absolutely. Did I once sit there staring at a disconnected screen like a betrayed dog? Yes. But past me, smug idiot that he was, won, and my sleep got fixed. When I wanted to train in the morning, I put my gym clothes next to my bed the night before. Sounds pathetic. Worked instantly. Because half-asleep me will not negotiate with a wardrobe, but he will put on the clothes that are right there, and once you're dressed for the gym, not going feels weirder than going. Stop asking, how do I get more willpower? Start asking, how do I need less of it? Hide your phone while studying. Delete the food apps. Put the guitar on a stand instead of in a case. Your environment is voting on your behavior every single day. Rig the election. If I could only give you one health habit from this entire video, it's this one. And I can hear you groaning already. Fix your sleep. I know, sleep advice. Riveting. But hear me out, because nobody told me this properly at your age. Bad sleep doesn't feel like bad sleep. That's the trap. It feels like life being harder than it should be. It feels like having no motivation, snapping at people, craving junk food, being unable to focus, feeling low for no reason. I spent years thinking I was lazy and moody. I wasn't. I was a man running on 5 hours of garbage sleep trying to gaslight himself into grinding. When I finally fixed my sleep, and it took a few months, not a few days, it was genuinely like someone turned the difficulty setting down. Same life, same job, same problems. Everything just got easier. Food cravings dropped, gym performance jumped. I stopped needing 3 coffees to impersonate a functional adult. Here's the realistic version of fixing it, for someone aged 18 to 21 who games, scrolls, and has a social life. 1. Consistent wake-up time. Not bedtime, wake time. Same time every day, weekends included, give or take an hour. Your body clock anchors to when you get up. Once that locks in, falling asleep at night starts happening automatically, like your body finally read the manual. 2. The last hour is sacred. Screens off, or at least dimmed and boring. The problem isn't just blue light, it's stimulation. You can't go from a ranked match where you're screaming at your monitor straight to peaceful sleep. Your brain needs a runway. Mine is shower, lights low, something easy to read or watch, nothing competitive. Boring on purpose. 3. Caffeine has a curfew. Caffeine hangs around in your system for ages. That 4 p.m. energy drink is still partying in your bloodstream at midnight. I made my cutoff 2 p.m., and it changed more than I'd like to admit. 7 to 9 hours. Protect it like it's your job. Because honestly, it makes you better at your actual job. Your training, your studying, and being someone people can stand to be around. Now health, and I promise to not be insufferable about this. You do not need a six-pack. You do not need to track macros like a forensic accountant. You do not need whatever powder the shredded guy on your feed is selling. He was shredded before the powder, that's why they hired him. What you need at 18 to 21 is much simpler. Build the habit of training before you need it. Because here's what nobody tells you. Right now, exercise feels optional because you feel fine. But strength and fitness are like a savings account for your body. Every workout in your 20s is a deposit. In your 30s, 40s, 50s, those are withdrawals. The guys I worked with on construction sites who never trained outside of work, by 45, a lot of them moved like the Tin Man before the oil. The ones who trained, different species. The minimum effective dose is genuinely small. Lift something 2 to 3 times a week. Gym, dumbbells at home, even body weight stuff. Push-ups, squats, pull-ups. Strength is the closest thing to a fountain of youth we've found. And as a bonus, carrying all the shopping bags in one trip becomes your personality. Walk. A lot. Most underrated habit on earth. It's free, it clears your head, it counts as cardio, and you can do it while listening to music or podcasts or, ideally, this channel. I solve more problems on walks than I ever solve staring at screens. Pick something you don't hate. This is the actual secret of consistency. I hate running, so I don't run. I lift and I walk, and occasionally I play sport badly with friends. The best exercise plan is the one you're still doing in 2 years, not the optimal one you quit by March. Food? 3 rules cover 90% of it. Protein with most meals. Keeps you full, builds muscle, mostly stops the 11 p.m. fridge crimes. Mostly cook at home. Delivery apps are quietly the biggest scam ever run on your generation. I once checked my yearly total and had to sit down. And drink water like it's your hobby. That's it. Eat the pizza on the weekend. Live your life. It's the averages that matter, not the exceptions. Okay, so you know what to do. Sleep, train, eat decent, manage your screens. Knowing was never the problem, was it? Every January, you know. By February, the gym is a memory, and the only thing getting exercised is your thumb. Here's why you keep failing, and it's not a character flaw. You start too big. Motivation is a liar. It shows up on day 1, new me, 2 hours of gym daily, 5 a.m. wake-ups, no sugar ever. Writes a check your future self can't cash, and then leaves. Gone by Thursday. And when you inevitably miss a day, you decide you've failed and quit entirely. So flip it. Start embarrassingly small. So small it feels like a joke. Want to read? 1 page a night. Want to train? 10 push-ups. Want to journal? 1 sentence. The goal in the first month is not results. The goal is becoming a person who shows up. Identity first, intensity later. 10 push-ups daily for a month quietly turns into a guy who trains, and that guy naturally does more, because now it's just who he is. Next, never miss twice. Missing 1 day is life. Missing 2 is the start of a new habit, the habit of not doing it. 1 bad day means nothing. I've skipped workouts, eaten like a raccoon at a festival, slept terribly. The skill isn't perfection. The skill is the bounce back. Bad day Tuesday, back on Wednesday. That single rule is worth more than any routine video on this platform, including mine. And finally, track it somewhere you can see. A calendar with X's on it. An app. a note on the fridge, doesn't matter. Your brain is a sucker for not breaking the chain. It's the same psychology that keeps you logging into games for daily rewards, which proves the discipline was in you all along, it was just being spent on a login streak. Redirect it. Last section, the habit underneath all the other habits. Your generation is the first to grow up inside the most sophisticated attention-capturing machinery ever built. Thousands of brilliant engineers are paid fortunes to make sure you keep scrolling. So if you feel like your focus is broken, it's not because you're weak. It's because you're outnumbered. But here's the thing I need you to get. Whoever controls your attention controls your life. Every hour of scrolling is an hour not spent on the skill, the training, the sleep, the people. Nobody lies on their deathbed wishing they'd watched more strangers argue. I'm not going to tell you to delete everything and live in a cave. I still scroll. I still game, probably more than a 31-year-old should admit on the internet. The difference is containment. Phone out of the bedroom. Buy a cheap alarm clock. It costs less than a kebab. Social apps off the home screen, so opening them is a decision instead of a reflex. And 1 block of deep, phone in another room focus per day. Even just 30 minutes on the thing that actually matters to you. You will be shocked, genuinely shocked, at what 30 undistracted minutes a day adds up to in a year. Mostly because you'll realize you haven't given anything 30 undistracted minutes since about 2019. Attention is the raw material every other habit is built from. Guard it. One more section, and it's the one the productivity guys never make, because it doesn't sell courses. What to do when none of it is working. Because here's the reality. You're going to build these habits, feel unstoppable for 3 weeks, and then a week will arrive where you feel flat for no reason. No motivation, no energy, everything's gray, and you can't point at a cause. And because nobody warned you this is normal, you'll conclude something is wrong with you, or that the habits stopped working, and you'll bin the whole system. Don't. Low patches are not a malfunction. They're weather. Everyone gets them. The fit people, the successful people, the influencers between takes. The difference between people who keep their lives together and people who spiral isn't that the first group doesn't have bad weeks. It's that they have a bad week protocol. So here's mine, earned the hard way. First, run the boring checklist before the dramatic one. When I feel terrible, my brain immediately offers dramatic explanations. Wrong career, wrong life, existential crisis, time to move countries. 29 times out of 30, the actual answer is on the boring list. I've slept badly for 3 nights, I haven't been outside, I haven't trained in a week, I've eaten like a seagull at a car park, or I've been marinating in my phone. Sleep, sunlight, movement, food, people. Check those 5 before you let your brain hold a crisis meeting at 2 a.m. Your brain at 2 a.m. is not a board member. It's an intern with a megaphone. Second, shrink the standards, keep the streak. On low weeks, don't aim for your normal output. Aim for the minimum viable version. Can't do the full workout? Walk for 10 minutes. Can't study for 2 hours? Open the book, do 1 page. It feels pointless, but it's not the page that matters. It's staying the kind of person who shows up, so that when the weather passes, and it always passes, you're still in position. Quitting entirely and restarting from 0 is what actually costs you months. Third, say it to one human. There's a thing young guys especially do, where we go quiet and deal with it, which usually means not dealing with it, alone, with the lights off, at increasing volume. I lost a chunk of my mid-20s to that strategy. The dumbest, most effective fix I ever found? Text one mate something honest. Not a speech, just, been feeling flat lately, don't know why. That's it. Half the weight is the secrecy, and it lifts the moment it's said out loud. And fourth, know the difference between weather and climate. A flat week or 2 is weather. The checklist handles it. But if the gray sticks around for weeks on end, if nothing you used to enjoy works anymore, If it's affecting your sleep and your appetite and your will to do anything, that's climate, and that's worth talking to a professional about. A doctor, a counselor, whoever you can access. There's no version of toughness that's improved by refusing the tools. Strongest thing I ever did in my 20s wasn't in a gym. You don't need to be a machine. You need to be a person with a maintenance plan. Machines break. People recover. Let's land this thing. Stop waiting for discipline. Design your environment so you barely need it. Fix your sleep first, because it secretly controls everything else. Train small, but train forever. Deposits now, withdrawals later. Start habits embarrassingly small, never miss twice, and track the streak. Protect your attention like the asset it is. And when the bad week comes, and it will, run the boring checklist, shrink the standards, keep the streak, and tell one human. None of this is exciting. That's the point. The exciting stuff is what the algorithm sells you. The boring stuff is what actually changes your life. Quietly, slowly, and then all at once. If this helped, subscribe. Next video is about people. Friendships, networking without being weird about it, and relationships in your 20s, including the mistakes that cost me years. It's the one I probably needed most at your age. See you there. Go drink some water.